Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on back to the Unified Proving Ground Circuit. Okay, real quick, yet again, we're 1-1 inside of a series, starting ourselves off with another fantastic series, and IMT, they come in with a master plan here. This is very welcoming to see. Nice adaptation coming out. I want to go ahead and throw this over to our draft here. Matt, you had some words when you were looking at the draft as the pieces were being collected.
Yeah, so for Winthrop, moving back over to the blue side, we see that they did go for a first pick Lulu, and while I do think this champion is really powerful, you can see that Immortals took away a lot of the really powerful champions that go alongside it, most notably the Aphelios and the Jinx, and it resulted in the rest of this draft not really suiting what Lulu wants to do. You look at this draft and you see not a lot of champions that work really well with the whimsy attack speed and the shielding. You can't really get in range of a lot of people with it either with health picks. So it's really difficult for Kenji to do a lot in this game, not to mention him getting caught out a bit in the late game as well, trying to go for wards. And it's not that I dislike the champions that they picked either. I think LeBlanc works really well in this game. There's a lot of immobile carries on the other side. The Syndra and the Jhin are really easy targets for LeBlanc later, and the Kha'Zix as well, but it's really desynced from the first pick, which is usually the pick that's supposed to ground you and be the champion that you build everything around.
Talking about somebody who was grounded, Everett, you were looking at this Misfortune pick and you were like, all right, hold on, this Misfortune didn't really fit the mold as you wanted to see it.
Yeah, I didn't like the Misfortune pick, but also I don't really blame Vex. Now that I think about it, IMA banned 3 ADCs, and that's actually what I talked about in the first game, how they really need to respect AD carry bans, and like what they did, they banned 3 AD carries, and their bot lane was completely just non-existent that game. Vex and Kenji had no impact in the game, and I mean, besides Misfortune, there weren't really any other picks he could play besides maybe like Vayne, which is decent into Jhin Karma, but really bad into like Syndra Gwen.
Yeah.
But talking about somebody who did leave their mark, I do have to bring up the fact that Lee Sin left his mark on quite a few players here. There was a lot of footprints left in some people here as Winston was all over the map. He was making sure to leave his mark, and I don't think anybody from Winthrop enjoyed what Winston had in store.
Yeah, it was a good response to the Kha'Zix, and not to mention the other response that they had in this draft too. They did give Anime Girl a much better top lane matchup, one that you can bring a lot of pressure to. We did see him even get a solo kill really early on in that game as well on the Gwen, so Anime Girl was definitely in his element. They had the Syndra matchup as well, which is really nice in the lane against LeBlanc. Less so later, but really good in the lane, and it just opened up the map from the get-go a lot more for Immortals. They looked a lot more comfortable on a draft like this.
Absolutely did, and it definitely speaks volumes to how Immortals was able to continue to play around it. They had a strategy going into it. They adapted. They got stronger lanes for themselves. But talking about something I want to highlight an individual from the side of Winthrop real quick in the mid lane on that LeBlanc. Everett, you were looking over and just like, holy, this LeBlanc is too good. He was just dancing around constantly, and I feel like even though they did pick up a loss in game number 2, I want to put some respect on Winthrop here, because in the mid lane, we're seeing some fancy moves coming out.
Yeah, Throp's out. Because...
You didn't have to get closer to the mic for that.
Yeah,
we talked about this.
We get it. Yeah. No, but really, Ivana really played really well, considering how behind his team was and how much the team was not playing for him. I really am impressed by how he played last game and especially this game, and I think he should get major props.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have a replay to actually come up here to be able to take a look into this game, see exactly how everything goes through as it is rolling. That's, if you could, just walk us through this journey that happens in the bot lane.
Yeah, as we see Vex and Kenji pushed off really heavily by the 4 members of Immortals, and they get really greedy here, as you see. They go all the way back underneath the turret, forcing Immortals to look at this and be like, wait a second. Is this allowed? I don't think this is allowed.
This is so illegal. I was getting pissed, low-key.
Yeah. Vouch, actually. Everyone was really upset when we were
They were
watching
saying a
this.
eulogy. There was a eulogy being spoken off screen. And you can see why, as the action just continues to go on.
Right, and then they get trapped under the turret again as well. As we watch Anime Girl and Winston get the same exact flank again, they rout off all these members, and we get to see why this dive situation is so threatening, because you have the Jhin ultimate, you have the Scatter the Weak as well. So many kills just completely for free on the silver platter for Immortals.
Yeah, and it was fantastic to be able to see, and really, like I said, a lot more of the players looked comfortable. Like, it felt like in the first game, we got to see them kind of caught off balance. They were inside the chaos of Winthrop, and in this game, you got to see Meech have a fantastic just game on Jhin, holding those curtain calls, using them very well inside of every single moment that he had, and also Shochi on the Syndra. Those Scatter the Weeks were so impressive. And we're going into game number 3 here. The Chaos of Winthrop strived in game number 1, and then IMT recollected themselves in game number 2. How are you guys feeling going into this game 3 after seeing both of these games?
Well, ideally Winthrop goes back to red side, right? So they have all those reactionary picks that they have at their disposal. We talked at the top of the day about the really deep champion pools of both of these top laners. I think we've seen that exemplified really well in these 2 drafts. The Darius counter pick, the Gwen counter pick as well. Both of these guys have a really high value on that one, so I think moving over to red is going to heavily benefit Winthrop's strategy going into the game. Yeah, they've revealed their hand on the Kazakhs, but I think their other drafting strategies will work really well when they move over there.
And Avril, if you would, is there anything that you're kind of looking at in game number 3 coming up?
I really like the 380 bins. I hope and I think IMA will keep that up. And yeah.
Winthrop's on red side. Had to see this. Swaps are happening. But you know what? We were talking about things to value here. I got something I value. It's our casters who are ready to take us into game number 3. Orbital, RMC, take it away.
Thank you, Travesty. And again, I asked for more blood. I got more blood as a play-by-play. But it seems like both these games so far have had enough, because we've seen some stars shine through here. The desk hit it on the head. The triple ADC ban to come out from IMA. Huge respect to that bottom lane. And now even Ivano stepping up massive in these 2 games, even in the loss in that game too.
Yeah, and on top of that, Winthrop gonna be on red side here. So definitely, it seems like the stars are aligning in their favor. And for Immortals AOE so far, you know what? Avril's been predicting the win condition. She said no Jhin game 1. Winthrop did that, won. She says, you know, for Immortals, like, you got to ban the Jinx, you got to ban the Caitlyn there. They did it. They won. Coming into game 3, she's calling for triple AD carry bans. We're not quite seeing it yet, but what they can do is ban 2 and first pick the 3rd.
Yeah. And I think that would almost be just as effective, right? The Vex, though, has to be kept out. I think what's even crazier is the Vex has like basically cropped up in Swiss. I didn't see it as often, and then it just like powered through the entirety of all the series so far throughout this kind of group stage. It's been a phenomenal pick, and I love it. So 2 bans straight towards that mid lane. The Victor and the Vex follow through with IMT AOE saying, all right, we don't want the Caitlyn. This should mean Winthrop should feel okay, straight up just banning out that Jinx and getting it off the table.
Yeah, instead they banned the Lulu. They still have 1 more ban, and I'm surprised the Caitlyn ban's coming in this early, because you're not forcing Winthrop at all to do the double AD carry ban, which we saw Immortals AOE have to do here. Instead, looks like they're just trying to remove Lulu, Enchanters, pardon me, Lulu and Caitlyn now both off the board here. Lux is still up and available if they're looking for, you know, a high prio Enchanter, or they might just go back to what served them before here. Things like the Thresh, especially if they're going to pair it with an Aphelios.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead, slap it up there, and I love it because Aphelios has also been one that has gone under the radar, but still has enough power to give ADCs that strength to fight back. Of course, line picking here, and with the Lulu and Karma taken off the table, I'm very, very curious. I think Thresh is obviously still available. That's probably what Winthrop might be considering here right now.
And let's not forget, Winthrop's support is Sir Kenji.
Yeah.
He himself is a massive Thresh player. It feels like such a good pick. Okay, so not the Jhin this time. They continue heeding Avril's advice from game 1. They've gone for that Ezreal that we kind of touched on last game a bit. It's a good answer to the Aphelios. A lot of times with Aphelios, you have to be careful about getting in range. If you're in range of Aphelios, you're probably not going to win that trade as an AD carry. So Ezreal able to fire Mystic shots from half a screen away. And this one will really test Vex's skills, because a good Ezreal is one who can land the skill shot. If you can't land it, you're not a good Ezreal.
And what might make it a little bit more difficult is potential cast sending people flying in different directions. That is going to be a Gragas picked up. Should be getting flexed a little bit here, depending on where Winthrop decided to place it. IMT AOE, of course, realizing that there might be some trickery afoot.
Yeah, I love these sort of flex picks being picked up early here. It could go support, it can go jungle, it can go top. Now, I don't think Kenji plays the Gragas support necessarily, but Mabud in the top lane, it's not super hard to play it. And in the jungle, Mordio's champ pool is so wide anyways. The Champion Ocean, you can probably float a keg or a cask in there fairly comfortably. Immortals AOE here, though. The Thresh that we expected to see get picked up. Jungle, maybe? Again, we get to see here. I mean, the Lee Sin worked really well for Winston. Like I said, it's such a safe blind pick in the jungle right now. It's always going to have mobility. Oh, okay. We went for the Olaf instead, and I am terrified of Winston's Olaf. I remember watching the Taco Gaming game, their game 5 in the OQs. Winston went on a tear. He started finding early kills, and then after that, he just 1v5'd.
And this also knocks out a potential flex, I think, for Mordio, right? We were just talking in game 1 that there are some scenarios where you can't break out that Kha'Zix or anything like that, right? So that locks off that avenue. And even Winthrop has seen it, right? Okay, probably can't play that. Let's hover the Graves. We'll lock it in. A few more flexes to work with. I do assume one of these will be going there and just like, listen, don't try and deal with that Olaf early. So I think a fantastic pickup here for IMT AOE. Now looking at the ban list, though, for Winthrop. Few options to take here in the solo lanes.
Yeah, I mean, IMT AOE over here, it's very clear what they still need to pick up: solo lanes. So if you have Winthrop, you ban solo lanes. It's just that simple. Whereas for Winthrop here, we still don't know where everything's going. They could be picking supports, they could be taking solo laners. Heck, they could be picking a jungler, as odd as that would be right now. It's still an option for them. And so for Immortals AOE, you just kind of got to go, like, what do we really not want to play against here? And frankly, I'd be thinking Assassins if I were them. You've got an Aphelios here, and Olaf, as good as he is at diving backlines, offers very little in terms of peeling for your AD carries.
And that's why I also like the Yasuo ban. Not only because as soon as you see the Gragas, I'm amazed that that Winthrop weren't like, we could just take the Yasuo, send it here in game 3, but IMT AOE saying, okay, yeah, we do have to respect ban that away. That is now going to be a total of, I believe, 4 bans sent into this mid lane here between the two teams. Will it be a 5th? They do have the opportunity to do so. Hovering down and below. Waited out. It is going to be the Yuumi. It was hovered earlier and saying, listen, can't let it through. That old school combination is just a bit too dangerous.
Gonna be honest, Orbital, it's a great ban, and Yuumi completely slipped my mind because I hate her, and we've not seen her for a while. So I was like, oh, we are finally safe to come back out. The kitty is gone, but no. You see an Ezreal, Yuumi's always a possibility on the cards here. And for Winthrop, because they have that Gragas already, that could be the tank you need, and then you can afford to go that Enchanter. Avano really changing things up from what we saw in the first 2 games that we saw LeBlanc, we saw Vex, somewhat mobile short dash champions. Cassiopeia is the opposite side of the spectrum. She is immobile, she will slither away, but she can definitely get picked off. And when you pick that into the likes of an Olaf, that to me is a ballsy move.
It is, and not only that, it's because I feel a lot of players here have actually strayed away from the mana-hungry champions, right? We haven't seen it as often. Again, for Anime Girl bringing out that Gwen, it worked so well in game 1, but I'm so sorry. I'm stuck on this Cassiopeia. It's a champion locked in against quite a bit that's different, and if this Lux is locked in as well, it's gonna be a difficult mid lane.
For sure. And Avano has impressed us with their mechanics so far. He's going to have to step up to a whole different level now with this Cassiopeia. Because look at what on earth they're playing into, right? The Cassiopeia is an answer to the Aphelios, I think, is what they had in mind. Usually, if you're in range of Aphelios, you're in trouble. Aphelios is going to rip you a new one. But Cassiopeia with the Petrifying Gaze theoretically can match. And the damage output from a Cassiopeia is nothing to scoff at. But it's just into the likes of an Olaf, into a Lux as well. The laning is going to be absolutely brutal. Jax. This is a counter pick to Gwen. It is a well-documented one that was being used back when Gwen was incredibly OP B1 pickup. but Anime Girl's played this matchup before, and Anime Girl is comfortable with it. It's not going to be an easy lane for them. And now I'm very curious about how this top lane goes, because it feels like a lot of Game 1 and Game 2 did revolve around the top lane. Mabud's Darius warped the game around it. Game 2, the early solo kill from Anime Girl. Towards the end, yeah, Anime Girl wasn't the big star of the show at the end, but certainly the early game, wherever Anime Girl was, that was where Immortals AOE won. And now, Mabud has a counter matchup, but this is Anime Girl's signature champion. It's literally an Anime Girl. It's the signature champion here. So, yeah, everything on the bot side aside, sure, it's going to be tough for Winthrop, but if Mabud can get ahead, you know what? I say Winthrop, so let's hope.
Yeah, I have some reserves, of course, but I have to agree, right? Winthrop have once again kind of gone back to that same style of try and win the lane and then get an advantage. It's just the difference is Immortals AOE are also challenging them to that same race. They are also saying, let's also go for kind of that early game pressure as well. I'm, like you said, my eyes, you know, the Gwen, the Lux even in the mid lane, now they have Felios and Thresh in the bot lane. I love that combination. It's still Winston. Winston still feels like that mega star that the spotlight just hit right on top of, and it'll never shy away.
Yeah, and I think in this game especially, I fully agree with that. Winston has to pop off in the Olaf. You don't pick the Olaf for a late game. You pick it for the early game here. You have the lane set up to do it. Mid lane is eminently gankable. You've got great gank assists with the Lux. You don't even need the binding, honestly. Just the slow is enough to start landing those axes. And Ivano, when they hit level 6, you know, Winston's not going to be far behind. Olaf counters that. Top side into the Jax, that's a pretty good lane to look for ganks as well. Yes, Jax can hop away, leap strike away, but if they ever leap strike in to fight Anime Girl, you can punish that. Bot side as well. Ezreal, definitely hard to punish, but maybe you can look for that Gragas. And if you take off, you know, you absolutely pop off here. Not a huge front line, though, for Immortals AOE, so definitely, again, a very mechanical game that has to come through from them.
Yeah, mechanically insane, of course, as well as Winthrop. I'm very, very curious to see whether Mordio or Vex will play that Graves better. This is going to be the first time that we actually get to see double Graves come into the game, right? It's a very new innovation that's come out into the Rift. It's fantastic to have. No, it's actually the Ezreal. It's going to be very, very fun to watch that Ezreal be able to pop off and enjoy, especially in combination with the Gragas. So, not only that, I didn't get to touch on it because I'm not sure if it was going to be super relevant, but it feels a little bit weird because the Gragas usually I like to see with a bit more hard all in, but to see that level of kind of like a pseudo enchanter or pseudo sorcerer throwing out the barrels, you know, trying to get the belly slams and everything, will that combination work as well as Winthrop hope it will in the bot side?
That's a big question, isn't it, here? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't hate the Gragas pickup in terms of what they're looking to do. I mean, you can build tanky Gragas. That is an option, which would work very well with their composition. It's more utility than anything else. And as we said, as Travi has pointed out multiple times on the analyst desk now, these teams thrive in chaos, right? Winthrop in game 1 absolutely excelled in it. And if your explosive cast does it right, you know, and knocks everybody up, isolates Winston going in, you kill off Winston, you turn the fight 5v4. That's a possibility. If you can catch Meech out of position, doesn't have to knock them into you, just off to the side or something, same with Shoshi, and allow, say, Mordio or Mabud to just hop on them, that's going to work for you really well. And more importantly, all of this creates space for Vex on the Ezreal, who's just going to want to kite around the edges of the fight here.
That'll be the big option for everyone to kind of keep eyes on. So many things that we have to watch and be careful of, as, again, this is game 3. This is the game to be able to move on, not have to worry about falling into that double elimination bracket side. No one wants to be on the cusp of being eliminated here in this group, and it's going to be a phenomenal time here as we do get underway. And this time, it ain't no battle lines drawn. It's full on under the cover of darkness. Both teams actually opting to send it. Vex, of course, on the scouting mission on defense.
That's the accident. Oh, okay. Vex had to start Arcane Shift there to stay safe. And hey, you do what you got to do to get out. But the early lane is going to be absolutely brutal now for Vex, that level 1, until you can hit that level 2. And Orbital, I was just going to say, I'm getting flashbacks to last night, right? We said it earlier, you know, but Radiance versus no teams, that's what happens when both teams sort of group up and look for those level 1s here. And I think it greatly favors IMT AOE. Winthrop is lucky they didn't run into IMT AOE. And in fact, even actually get all the vision down on that top side so they'll be able to track Winston.
Really, really want to keep track of where that Olaf will go, and so far it seems like they maybe have some good information because they realize that, hey, we got invaded as well. Let's go ahead and clear that out real quick, and Mordio doesn't have to worry about. Oh, good guy Kenji saying, listen, I could take that ward. I could get, you know, I think an extra 25 gold, and now give it over to my jungler.
I actually don't know how it works for junglers. I know the laners get it a lot of times. They'll hit level 2 a little bit faster here. So I don't know if it's necessarily better to have given it to Mordio. We'll have to see how that goes. Instead, we got treated to watching the top lane a little bit, and you can see the level 1 already quite different. It's worth noting as well, both top laners running Ignite, not Ghost. So when these top laners decide to go for the kill, they're going all in. There's no backing out there. You either win or you die.
I love that fact so much. I didn't even realize it, but I'm so happy that that happened because now anytime the camera goes up there, someone's dead. Someone is 100% dead. I love that you pointed it out. I can't wait to see what happens because, again, my bud has something to prove here, has that opportunity to really show up because so far we also panned over Ivano. Not enjoying mid lane so far. Again, this is not corrupting potions. Once you use those consumable pots, they are gone. You do not want to spend another 50 to 100 gold just trying to sustain through lane.
Yeah, and as a Cassiopeia here in the early game, you're not necessarily trying to kill anybody. You're not trying to trade either. If you're trading with a Lux, you're probably going to be on the shorter end of the stick. You just want to power farm the best you can with that tier. In fact, we see that their healths are even. That's because Shochi's eating turret shots, trying to get the poke down. If not, this would be a much more one-sided lane this early.
We do see is a little bit of poke. Again, the Glacial Augment Thresh is making its return. Vex and Kenji, though, are showing a little bit of a rebuttal, right? You saw the damage that Trevor did take. Vex and Kenji still doing okay, so that might be their window of opportunity here, as they are also going to hit level 3.
Yeah, Vex and Kenji going to be perfectly fine with this. They've frozen the wave in a perfect spot for themselves here, so they're perfectly fine. Ivano, though.
Oh, yeah, you tried to take it, and with Barrier already down, Shochi will go ahead and take a solo kill.
Shochi looks really comfortable on this Lux. That Lucian Singularity, the nice slow there. I forgot what the name is. The positioning was
Singularity.
beautiful, right? Singularity, perfect.
Yeah.
So you saw that Ivano literally couldn't get around it. It was so fat it took out the entire lane between the turret and the side of the wall. And Ivano, the moment you get slowed, the binding's so much easier to land. Shochi looks so good on this champion here, but it's not a CS lead just yet. And beside the fact that Ivano's died, Ivano's actually been doing pretty well CSing into the mid lane here. They didn't lose minions, very many minions to the turret either, so Ivano still okay right now. Winthrop, they're the ones this game who kind of say, like, the early game, we've got losing lanes, take it slow. We'll skill up. We've got a Jax, we've got a Cassio, we've got an Ezreal.
Question is how slow do they go before they realize that the car that they're trying to race is kind of careening out of control, right? This is what IMT AOE are hoping to do because now on the top side with no vision, Mabud just spotted out Winston and Mabud. Not going to enjoy that. There's no teleport to help. Ivano decided to go barrier, and now with the counter-strike up, it's just an ignite, and Winston should go in for a final slap. Not even the E, just a straight-up axe to the back. That will be the kill on the top side. IMT AOE making it look easy.
All I heard in the back of my head there, Orbital, was the Jaws music there, seeing Winston come in. The moment he popped up, great, you have vision. What are you going to do? You're dead no matter what. You don't have flash. Mordio is not anywhere nearby. And that dive, beautifully clean. You go and ignite. You back out. Oh, interesting. Question for Shochi there. Who's a player that you would beat 100% of the time? Drew Dozer? Well, good thing he didn't say Ivano, because he's not beaten Ivano 100% so far.
Not, but at least in this game, maybe. But we do see the mid lane enjoying a little bit of Spice the River. Now running red, just as in game number 2. Ivano even tried to help with a flash of their own, but only level 5. No Petrifying Gaze, and Shochi is actually going to fire back. You do not have anything, and Shochi turns Cassiopeia to dust.
So here's the thing. You don't have to beat Ivano 100% of the time. You just got to beat Ivano the one time it matters. And right now, Shochi is popping off in the mid lane top side.
Gonna be the needlework going out just to lay down the damage.
Yeah, Ignite actually used earlier as well in that trade. So Anime Girl has to be a little bit careful. Mabud does have his Ignite ready to tick. And now level 6 actually has the ultimate, the added resistances there.
and now we get a replay of the bot lane, because I believe there was a kill down there, and that is going to be Trevor actually eating the surprise party from Kenji and Vex.
Okay, Meech just trying to get out here. I didn't even realize this actually happened while that fight broke up near the top side there. We were so focused on Shochi and Ivano, but you know what? Trevor dies. That's fine. He's the support, right? You die for your AD carry. More important, Meech is alive, and Meech is still farming perfectly fine. It even with Vex here. Vex and Kenji not able to shove it in. Speaking of Kenji...
Well, Kenji said it's Roman time. It's time to enjoy the top lane, and unfortunately the wave is not prepped as well as they would probably like him. But is actually not enjoying that, so Kenji has to back away. Audio is now going to force it backwards, but might be a lot of time burnt on the top side because Winston's about to add to the party. Kenji realizes that he has to show himself, and now is going to do it. Level 5 and into the counter by the laser. Shoshi said, "Show me that kill." Money, money, money in the bank. 3-0-1 is the Lux.
Orbital, we said Winston needed to start running the train early here in this game. Well, I take that back. Shochi's running it for him there, and Winston benefiting from that. The fact that Mabud got burst down so quickly and Mordio had to back out meant that Kenji actually couldn't finish Winston off. The lifesteal you saw was enough, and if Kenji had tried to stick around, they might have lost more. Meanwhile, Meech trying to punish Vex under turret here. Can't quite chunk Vex, but they're getting the plates, and that is still some sort of advantage. IMT AOE winning across the board here.
Feeling real good about this one. Early start, 5-1. Great gold lead to be able to return on, and see the Noon Quiver plus the pickaxe for Meech will allow that to happen now. You were talking about Vex not getting pushed out as well as you would like. Well, Meech said, okay, now I can do it. I even picked up boots to ensure that I get in range for this. Now we go ahead and take another replay. This laser, I have to say, perfectly set up. No one was expecting it unless you were watching that minimap. It looks so bad for Winston right there. Level 5, like he called out, phenomenal play by IMT AOE.
Oh, bro, I'm sure you just did some good analysis, but all I saw was that final spark coming through because that animation was beautiful. It looks so cool there, and it's just the tip catching Mabud there. Now, a fight over the dragon buff here, but Winston a little bit lower in health, equal levels, and, well, smite changes means it doesn't matter.
Oh, almost got the seal going through. Mordio says that can't chance it. That'll be, once again, IMT AOE taking that dragon. Wasn't an Ocean Drag first. It is Ocean Drag second, though, so the game's still like, yeah, we'll still throw it in there.
And it was Winthrop starting up that dragon as well, Orbital. IMT AOE effectively stole it just by walking in. And that's the side of the map where Winthrop can actually contest. If they go topside, they can't. Anime Girl is a level up at this point here. And in the mid lane, Shochi has prio every single time. Look at that.
Yeah, but this is going to be a back turn as Shochi waiting for cooldowns to come up. Ivano actually might be able to heal up. Oh, you know what? You'll take that. Ivano getting a 1-for-1 trade and netting a 600 gold extra into the pocket. Now on the top side, that's going to be Needlework being thrown out a little bit slow on the ward and jump, but that means Mabud takes the full force.
Mordio's coming.
3 Pog. Now it's going to be Mordio's turn to try and help out, but how much damage can you really do? Counter-Strike is up. Gets the stun off just in time. That'll be Mordio keeping it even. 6-3 is the score. At least we're seeing some returns for Winthrop. Winston, though, the level 7 Olaf, and actually is run off. This has been surprising considering it's an Olaf, and Bud's allowed to walk away for free.
So part of the problem there for Winston is that they lost vision on Kenji. So they know Kenji's not bot lane, they just don't know where Kenji exactly is at that point in the map. So they were worried that, hey, if Kenji shows up, it's a 3v1, I do not survive this. Well played.
Oh, that's going to be Shochi having to burn the flash. If that flash wasn't there, that would have been another kill, and all of a sudden Shochi's on the back foot. But quick feet. Quick feet is what we saw right there.
Quick hands as well to move said feet here, Orbital, and more importantly, that's going to secure them Herald. If Shochi had died there, they just rotate straight to Herald. But because Shochi lived, it's going to buy them enough time on that particular movement. And we are getting a bit of a replay, I think, on the 1v1 between Shochi and Ivano there. And full burst, great combo. The problem, I think, for Shochi was that you should have just backed up under the turret. There was no need to bait your cooldowns. Just keep running to safety. As it is, you trade 1-for-1, but you had the bounty, so you lost out.
Yeah. And you also have to remember, maybe you're used to the fact that, hey, most mid laners are running teleport. This is a barrier Cassiopeia, right? That little extra thing in the beginning does help out quite a bit. Kenji now on that roam tried to get a little bit of an advantage, but now pinching in on the weak side, IMT AOE are gonna run down that Gragas into the jungle, but Trevor actually getting knocked up and taken out. Kenji says, hey, I got you on the run. Shochi goes down as well. Mordio was able to take that one away with the red buff. And Winthrop walk away with 2.
Not gonna lie, bro. For a second there, I thought IMT AOE was actually gonna turn that, but Kenji's burst damage. This is not an AP Gragas that we're seeing here. This is tank Gragas. The base damages are just that high, and Winthrop, they're able to answer back. Worth noting, they did not get Herald though.
Oh, and on the top side, we just flashed over that fight, and it looks like it is gonna be safe, so we get to see this one more time.
Yeah, Kenji is trying to get out, and they think for a second, oh, we got him, but Trevor flashing ahead, trying to do it, didn't work. And it was actually Ivano's damage as well that made it look so good. It was a 5v4, and if IMT AOE had managed to get out of that on even footing, it would have been massive. We come back, and Ivano's dead.
Yep, Ivano is dead, and Winston running away, but the flash to follow. Mordio gets another shutdown, 3-1-0. Currently for this Graves is actually something to be feared. But again, Ivano in the top side, you saw it on the smaller screen right there. It was a bit difficult to fight a 2v1. Now, Meech is going to eat a little bit of damage, and Bud's here. Did get the knockback again. The Jax just wasn't in position to follow up.
Yeah, and they have to be so careful about this. The minion wave is about to get fully cleared here. You don't want to get caught inside turret range when that happens. And great survive from Meech. Only burnt the heal too, so the flash is still up and available. And now that Trevor's back, they can start to try and bully out a little bit here.
Gonna be the chance to do it. Meech, of course, not wanting to play too close. Knows the combo's down, but still a counter strike into a couple hits means Bud could get a bit of damage. Our turret plates falling here in about 30 seconds, says. Gonna take stock here, and this is probably the first time, about 13.5 minutes, that the gold is actually fairly even.
Yeah, pretty much dead even here. Anything below 500 gold difference is irrelevant at this point. And Shochi, who had such a big gold lead, you can see, is no longer the richest person on the map. Mordio has caught back up with kills of their own here. And if the teams are equal, honestly, I feel like Winthrop's won out here. They've got the better skilling.
Oh, well, Winston has to burn the Ragnarok. Rest of the team there to help out. It's going to be the collateral damage, but Kenji ready to play with a little bit of fire. True Shot Barrage comes all the way through, and does mean this is going to be a rough start because Winthrop is not in position to save their tower. They are in position to take the dragon. Rift Herald dropped on that side, and we do hear the needlework going through. A great petrifying gaze, but can you get it? The barrier coming up? There it is! Ivano gets a 1v1 and survives. Now on the bot side, the dragon has it taken. This Winthrop going to try and take control of this earlier state. That is going to be the Mystic Shots going out. Great flash away. It looks like that's a survival again from Winthrop. No, Jax did fall. Can't survive a final spark. Looking for a bit more, though. Most importantly, top lane. Ivano 1-4-3. Able to take out Enemy Girl.
And that's huge for the side of Winthrop there, that Ivano won the trade. You can see the damage coming down. The Ignite comes down as well, but the barrier at the last second. And if Ivano can continue doing this, then Ivano actually has a safe lane, because I was getting worried. You can't lane against Shochi. Gwen should be able to cut you down. Where are you going to go? Now, Anime Girl can't cut you down. You can go to that side lane.
Ivano's meditating like crazy. Went down 1-4. Still has a very strong mental. So meditation apparently the answer to coming back from a very brutal matchup in the mid lane there. Already has the Crown of the Shattered Queen. Gonna allow a little bit more sustain to come through, especially against the likes of that Lux, who is now 5-2-1 by the way. Even though Ivano did get the 1v1, Shoji is still a monster and a terror on the Rift.
Yeah, and as we move into the mid game here, IMT AOE have to play around Shochi and Trevor a lot more. It's all about the pick potential here. Anime Girl is not the same Gwen he was last game, where he can just terrorize everybody on the Rift. So you need to start landing these bindings and play around them. If nobody's there to back them up when they land the CC, the picks, it doesn't really matter. And for Winthrop here, Ivano split push, it's getting kind of nasty. But Bud's happy to continue scaling up, and Vex at this point still waiting to complete that mana move.
So that mana move comes through. I'm very, very curious to see how much more damage this team will do. Winthrop have honestly done a great job to come back in this game so far, right? Again, at one point, IMT AOE were up at 5-1. They were in control of that early stage. It felt like they had decent control, and yet it just 1 or 2 unfortunate fights, and Winthrop have found their opportunity. IMT AOE, though, still have decent control of the macro game. 1 tower to 0, none. 1 dragon apiece as well. And it looks like we're going to get Mountain Soul once again. Repeat of game number 1. A little bit of extra shielding against all the burst.
And this time, overall, I do think Mountain Soul is highly beneficial for both teams with the sheer amount of damage that's coming out here. Every little bit will help. So far, a lot of the fights we've seen, it's been kind of like everybody except for the AD carries really chipping in. Once we start seeing those second items completed, that's when we're going to start seeing the AD carries come in. And I think that completely changes the landscape here of these fights. It'll be who can output more damage. For now, though, IMT AOE a little faster on the rotations, the other one making the proactive plays, and the other one's being rewarded with the Herald.
Second Herald, not the most phenomenal, right? No real plates, but this could be the opportunity that IMT AOE are looking for. Ivano on the top side, realizing that, hey, this might not be a great place to stay at. Kenji coming up to help out a bit. Like towers should fall relatively easily. Over the side they go. Trevor is going to walk past, and that's going to be the Glacial. Slowing it down. That's going to be a great hook. Is that ultimate going to come out? No, Ivano just dies in the middle. And doesn't burn a single thing. So, realizing that death was imminent, decides to just take the loss.
And they're going to keep on pushing. That second Herald we were talking about, I was looking top lane to get outer. They're using it to push inner here. No one can answer. Mabud is sitting bot side trying to push, but you're trading inner for outer at this point. Is Shelly going to get another charge off?
Yeah, looks like it again. It's only Kenji up there. No one's responded yet. No one has even tried to. And considering there are 3 still up here, Kenji walked up. Huge push coming out for IMT AOE. Honestly, a little bit of a rough time. Now we're going to go ahead, swing right back up as we do get a lovely view of the Rift there, Champions Cup, as the mid lane tower falls as well. IMT AOE in one fell swoop have taken down 3 towers, opened up top lane inhibitor tower for a push, and are looking to prep for this upcoming dragon.
Well, bro, I think what we got there was the Winthrop fan experience, where that was what the fans were hoping Winthrop would be able to do. Just swing to that top side, cover the top. Unfortunately not. And now Winthrop have lost full control of that top side of the map for the rest of the game, as Baron's going to be spawning in about a minute. IMT AOE, they're now free to focus all their attentions on this dragons. They have minions pushing that top side for them, granting them all the vision they need, and if they see Mabud there, they can pull the trigger on dragon immediately.
Be a single problem. That's why actually Mabud preemptively rotating down, right? And the dragon has actually started up. So Winthrop saying we have to go for this. I'm not sure if they want to force it because, again, they're getting pinched in a 5v4. It's going to get a little bit low. That's the cast. Only popping a few people on the side. Mabud wants to get into the fight. Is going to go in with the Counter-Strike Dragon down to about 2k. They're going to spam it out. Ivano trying to run interference, but no one said so far. Mabud did a great job holding everyone off. Anime Go going right back in. That's going to be the kill. Laser comes across, gets Grace, and that might be the smite. Who is going to get it? That's going to be Olaf taking it home. So that's going to be 2 dragons. Can't get away with anything else. That's going to be a great binding catch. Gaze grabs 3. That is going to be the signal. Winthrop chase down all the kills, and they will make IMT AOE pay for that dragon.
Somebody give this man a medal! Ivano just turning the fight, the beautiful 4-man petrifying gaze to salvage a terrible situation. And guess what? Ivano's Cassiopeia here. They can shred through Baron. Winston's dead for 20 seconds. There's no Hextech. There's no Ghost. Winthrop just turned the game on its head.
All right, we had questions, we were wondering, and we said it. We were wondering about the top jungle. At the start of this series, we said it was the top jungle show. Who's going to have more priority? Ivano said, hey, I'm here in game number 1, game number 2 as well, and now in game 3. It is blossoming into here. Amazing play.
And if you watch this fight, the top lanes are trying to zone out, but Mabud ran back in. Anime Girl is doing a better job zoning out the back line, and then the binding lands onto Mordio, and that should be it. It's a free dragon. Disengage, and here we go. Watch Ivano once again here, flashing in 3-man, but good enough. They found all the carries.
And most notably as well, like you said, the carries, that's all you wanted. And we get right back into the action, explosions around the rift. It looks like Mordio tried to take a little bit more than they could chew, tried to use that Baron as much as they could, and end up losing it. So Avano, after making an amazing play, set up too far, lost the Baron, Mordio as well. This is going to give IMT AOE another chance to look forward and kind of recoup their minor losses after that dragon.
Orbital, I am legit shaking right now behind my camera with how back and forth this game is. Look at this. Every time something happens, there's an answer. Winthrop trying to make another play, but not going to work out this time. Kenji going to drop, and I want to point out that on this Baron power play, they've not found any turrets yet. The top lane turret was supposed to be the first one. They didn't get it. And IMT AOE, they lost the Baron, they lost the fight, but they refused to lose anything else.
Yeah, this is looking pretty rough. 300, 200, it's sinking. This might be a negative Baron power play here in a couple seconds, holding steady at about 120. But you can see it there, right? Taking a look at the, oh, that was close. Looking at the total damage though, Avano, if you had taken a look at this graph, I want to say about 5 to 7 minutes ago, probably would have been more middle of the pack, but rivaling the likes of Sochi, just 600 less, is ridiculous. Now Vex as well! That is the Ezreal that you just can't deal with.
Remember, we're talking 2-item power spikes, right? Vex is completed here. Mura mana with that Essence Reaver here. We see the Liandry's being completed. That's just icing on the cake. And Meech didn't go for, you know, the normal sort of Aphelios builds we normally see. I mean, this one is still something Gale Force Bloodthirst. It's a survivable build, but it doesn't do as much damage as Vex is going to be able to do. And Winthrop, despite the fact they couldn't make good use of the Baron earlier, are able now to at least clean up those turrets on the back end.
Exploding out there onto the Rift, 2400 now for the team. Feels a little bit better, able to stay a little bit more in shape, and most notably, I think a little bit of that gold went into Mabud. He was able to take bot lane tower, and Mabud's been having a little bit of a rough time. 0-3 and 5, right? This Jax has not exactly been that split push terror that we've been kind of hoping for, but is slowly scaling up for it.
Yeah, and I think that's props to Anime Girl as well for being able to handle this lane, which was supposed to be a counter matchup, and even now still able to hold it. And that's allowing IMT AOE to try and match on other fronts. The problem is they've not been able to do that. Shochi, this accelerated pace has not worked to Shochi's favor because they're constantly pressing. Shochi can't set up the picks. Anytime the pick lands, Winthrop is okay with it. They're continuing to run into you, and that's the winning strategy for them. I said it before that Winthrop, play it slow because you skill up. They've skilled up, and now IMT AOE need to play it a little bit slower here. If you get sucked into that chaotic pace of just constantly fighting, you're gonna get out damaged by Winthrop.
This dragon should be a good indication to see if IMT AOE are able to take your advice, RMC. This is the point, right? 30 seconds in, you don't want to give another one over. You really don't want to face on Soul Point and Mabud. Be on the receiving end of that damage. Trevor also ate a bit as well. It's just a little bit of a greeting. Morty, though, trying to take away this pink ward, almost not worth it. Almost. A little bit dangerous. Kenji, though, does get slowed down. Now they're going to get pinched. Winston has to ghost away. And that's an unfortunate summer to lose just as Dragon spawning.
Yeah, they're trying so hard for this. Avano just barely able to get out here, and it feels like the teams don't need to contest this as hard as they are here, but they're doing it because they want to try and get picks.
Kenji, once again, being that sacrificial kind of guard right at the front, right? Eating that CC if they have to. Eating a lot of that damage. Avano as well. This is starting to get a little bit rough, right? You said it earlier, don't need to fight around the dragon. Why are you fighting in mid lane? Everyone just took damage, lost some summoner spells, and all that was taken was a dragon.
It's an ego check. It's a skill check, and Avano might have just filled it.
Oh, Avano, you flash down. Petrifying Gaze, but it's on Winston. Avano recalls in a bush and pays the price.
That's like literally trying to take a nap in the middle of a battlefield. You knew everybody was there fighting away, and Anime Girl might have just walked into his death.
Yeah. However, this time there's a little backup, right? This is going to help out a little bit, but able to chase forward. Dodges out on the final spark. This should be Anime Girl.
No way!
Doesn't want to follow through because the rest of the team follows behind. But Bud came very close to a solo kill. Anime Girl getting bailed out by the rest of the team.
Oh, that was tense, and with that 14-14 here overall, we're still incredibly close. Yes, there is a 3k gold lead in the favor of Winthrop, but they're struggling to leverage that gold lead because they can't quite engage onto IMT AOE. That last face-off we saw in the mid lane, realistically, you don't get anything off of it. Winthrop already took the dragon. It's just a kill. But that's in terms of material things, in terms of mental, in terms of the skill check there. IMT AOE now know, okay, we're so good for this. If we can get into another face-off situation, over time, we will win this. We are okay with doing that around Baron since it now spawned.
And another thing that I would like to note, we've been talking about IMT AOE and about their damage checks and everything. We got to talk about Winthrop, right? Yes, eyes have been on Avano. 377, we gave him a lot of credit, though, for the Petrifying Gaze. Let's talk about who has steadily been climbing in terms of damage scaling. Vex has been doing a great job. 403 has not died a single time. Unfortunately, not the Leandri's coming out here. Decided for the more defensive option in the Crown. Said, listen, I will burst someone out. I'm not looking for the hard poke. Let me burst. Let me do my job, take out at least one of the members, and hopefully the rest of the team can follow up behind.
Oh, Mordio here.
Shoji, very nice flash, and Mordio went for it. Is able to get away with the collateral damage. That could have been very bad, but again, that is going to be the Immortal Shield Bow. Very true.
I thought they nerfed Immortal Shield Bow. That didn't even pop through the entire shield there for Mordio, and with all the attention that Mordio
Scimitar?
brought.
Was that enough? It
Yeah,
has some MR. Is that correct?
yeah.
No, I'm crazy, right?
No, you're right. The MR probably saved him there, because I thought that Final Spark would have actually done more damage. And because Mordio dragged everybody away, Vex gets free chip damage. It's slow, but for Winthrop right now, like I said, they're okay with playing this slow. I'm going to touch on the Shattered Crown as well for a second. Picking the defensive item here, I think it's the right choice. Vex has to be the follow-up damage to try and clean up these fights. And that's been what's winning Winthrop a lot of these initial engages. Avano goes down, but Vex can carry on. So I'm perfectly fine with that build. I'm happy with it, and it protects him also from a lot of the burst that's coming out from IMT AOE.
And the burst, and honestly, it's also the idea of Trevor. I want to point out Trevor has actually done quite a bit, right? Getting a hook on Kenji every so often, being able to pull one of the primary members in, and this is a nice fight. Trevor predicted something that I didn't see. Kenji was very much locked up. Could have been a lot of damage, but that has been the name of the game, right? Kenji has been hooked multiple times and has survived by the skin of his teeth. It's been impressive so far, just the seesaw battle of who is going to get caught out first and who is going to die from getting caught out.
If you think Kenji is getting out now, wait till he completes that Zhonya's Hourglass, and then you're really going to see IMT AOE struggle to find picks. And it just feels like IMT AOE, they're the ones trying to force all these moves. Winthrop has been playing so defensively for the last little while, and part of me is questioning, what are you waiting for? You're already stronger in terms of scaling here. And for them to kick action off, it's either going to be Mabud hopping in there with that Counter-Strike, or it's going to be Kenji trying to make those plays. And so far, Kenji used to play defensively for the most part. A lot of those explosive casks used to kind of bail people out here. But at some point, it's not about bailing people out. You got to start making plays of your own, and I want to see Kenji do that. He's got the good sense to find those flanks.
Also has the summoner spells up. As we do take a little bit of a check with Dragon coming up here in about 15. The only one without flash on the side of Winthrop is, of course, Mabud, but Avano, I think, has another about 30 seconds left. On the flip side, Shoshi is out for another half of it. Mordio, though, having to burn that QSS, is now going to jump away. That's going to be the catch. Firing right back. Huge damage, and no one dies once again. That is going to be so much expended on the side of INT AOE, and nothing gained from it.
That's a 5v3, and remember how I said, Kenji, I want to see that explosive cast used offensively? It's up. Didn't have to bail anyone out, and he's behind them here. Winthrop going for the dragon. The call from IMT AOE will match with Baron.
Yeah, but they're a little bit slow, right? That dragon fell way too fast, and the teleport from Mabud had to have been spotted out. And Winthrop had the inside track, right? Right now, they do have the inside track a little bit and getting close. Oh my lord. That was a stat check a little bit from Vex and Kenji. You were talking about Kenji not going that AP build. He has enough to still do a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, he's AP now. I mean, that Ruby Crystal, that Kindle Gem we saw initially, Everfrost, that's AP damage. And now you can see, if they find that sort of engage there, they can definitely turn things. They weren't all quite together, so they weren't able to punish, but it is becoming slowly more and more Winthrop favored. Orbital, are we gonna see the first series loss for an LCS affiliated team?
You just jinxed it. You just jinxed it, RMC. You said it out loud. I wasn't trying to say it, and now it's not gonna happen. But I have to agree, right? 14-14 at 31.5 minutes. Sole point for Winthrop. Baron is now being started up again. No one on this side of the Rift. They're calling in the teleport. This should have been enough time. They should be able to close it down. The question is, how many can they get away with? No primary carries, though, unless this is a steal. It is! Are you kidding me? Kenji with a barrel steals away Baron.
What did we just witness there? They threw out the final spark. The smite was ready. I don't think Winston actually even smited, and this really might be the end. Winthrop have Baron. They're pushing in here.
Kenji might have made the play that pushes Winthrop over the edge. It's a 4-1 push. Winthrop are saying, no, we can't push us 5 right now. Let's go ahead and split. Let's play this a little bit safer. They realize they have found the golden ticket. There was one left. There's a single one left. And Kenji getting caught out by Trevor. This is now pushing into dangerous territory. This 3-man squad cannot stay here for much longer.
But Mordio is split pushing on that top side. They can't answer in time here. So despite losing Sir Kenji, Winthrop is still able to push in from multiple sides here. And IMT AOE will not go quietly into the night here. They're still fighting back. That kill burns about half the Baron here. Winthrop will get one more good push, but you're seeing it. If a binding lands, if a hook lands on the right target, that should still be a kill. That is still chances, opportunities for Immortals AOE to bounce back.
It's not over by a long shot. The Baron that was taken, even though you see it in the top of your screen, 2800 Baron power play, right? Yes, it is Baron taken. Winthrop did not expect to take it at all. They even, you saw it in what they were going for, right? They're even like, well, we got Baron, can we do anything with it? So it doesn't matter. They weren't worried about it. They didn't care. It was specifically that, hey, we got the Baron away. We're not dealing with IMT AOE pushing Baron on our front. So it is a stall Baron. It worked perfectly. And now, with items bot, it's the question. Mordio now getting caught, though. Once again, no flash available. It's fairly tanky, though. Anime Girl able to lay down the damage. Mordio has to be able to get away. That's the laser, though. They found Mordio. Look on the flip side, though. That damage is unreal, but it's not going to be enough. I thought it was going to be their Vex for the first time dying here in the late stages of this game.
And they're now going to try and push in here. There's a minute to Dragon, so IMT AOE, they've got nothing better to do than to push. Avano, he's got great wave clear, petrifying gaze as well. They're diving.
Yeah, they got it. They got to go for it. That's a good one to throw out, but it only catches 2. Now they're going to chase back, and the tower is down. What more can you do? Can they manage to maintain this hold? Can they keep their HP bars up? Looks like yes, they can. Anime Girl is going to get ignited, but it shouldn't do much more than a little bit of tick damage. The inhibitor falls, and honestly, that is going to be the least amount of stuff that they could have lost. That could have gone much, much worse.
Winthrop needs to interrupt recalls right now. Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. If they can buy time, they can get Mountain Soul. And considering the amount of bursts we're seeing out from IMT AOE right now, that Soul could be what Winthrop needs to push them over the edge. IMT AOE, they don't have TP on Anime Girl or Shochi. They're gonna be late to this Dragon.
Both teams hoping to set it up properly. Kenji gonna take away the scuttle, give themselves a bit of perfect, immovable vision. Eyes, though, who is going to be coming around? Anime Girl a little bit late out of base. Like you were saying, IMT AOE a little bit slow to this spot. However, Mabud still hiding in that mid lane, still trying to push and cause a little bit of chaos. Kenji, though. Kenji, I don't think that's where you want to be. Kenji faces and is dead. What can you get out of that? Winston is getting very, very low. That's going to be the Gorge keeping him alive. Mabud on the flip side forces the flash out of Beast, and they're going to still fight. Vex trying to force it out. That's going to be redemption coming down. Should be enough burst out. Vex. Low Dragon. Dragon takes his life. That's going to be Avano, though, trying his best to maintain. Winston is trying. Mordio on the backline. It's Mabud and Mordio, the top jungle duo. Can they do it? Can Winthrop pull through on the win? Yes, they do. They get Olaf. It's a 3 for 3, but the 2 left on either side. It favors Winthrop. Again, it's a Shochi GG show what is going on in this game.
It's a mid laner's world, Orbital, and we just live in it. Avano, again, beautiful petrifying gaze, but Shochi able to answer back. Mordio, he's a jungler, but even with the smite here, it's not safe. Shochi has to make sure that they push out Mordio before trying to take this one.
They're gonna slow it down for half a second. This could be it. Kenji has to get back. That's another Singularity bursting out Mordio. Remember, Singularity is off cooldown of a Binding Lance.
Kenji's coming.
This could lead into so much damage. Collateral damage goes out. They're gonna laser. They're gonna jump in.
They got it!
Go the way of blue team. That is gonna be IMT AOE, but they're gonna lose their lives. It's gonna be Shochi possibly falling down. So just gold into the pocket of Kenji. Now Mordio caught into the wrong spot. That's everything that they need. Over the wall he goes and he gets away. Most importantly, though, we are moving to a 7th dragon, the decider here, as both teams are sitting at 3 dragons apiece.
I am literally dying, bro. I need heart meds after this game here. 37 minutes here, and they, you know what? Forget the gold lead. It doesn't even matter that there's 6k gold lead going on the map here. While that was happening, I was watching minions pushing into the base. IMT AOE was just trying to stall away, and now Baron up in 30 seconds. Shochi spawning in 20. Once again, no TP available. IMT AOE feel like they're lurching from disaster to disaster, but they just keep holding on.
Yeah, and they have to be worried, right? The second smite from Kenji might be too strong, but there might not even be one from Winston. That's going to be Trevor. Caught out this time. Kenji was the one before. It's Trevor's turn, and most brutally, that is a 45-second timer. 45 seconds that you are without one of your engage options, without that Glacier Augment. Winston is going to have to pull off the impossible here. Going to have to try and steal away Anime Girl hiding off on the edge, and it looks like they're going to have to give it up. Potentially it's burning down very, very quickly. No steal coming through. Laser a little bit slow.
It was a good attempt here, and Mabud continues to try and zone out. Winthrop this time, they've got the numbers to push in with the Baron buff.
Yeah, and they're going to try and push it. Mordio trying to get a little bit on the edge, but it's not going to happen. But again, I think this is the 3rd or 4th Baron that Winthrop have been able to pick up. IMT AOE are battling against the odds here, as they have not gotten a single buff to push with. This is getting ridiculous.
Okay, they're immortals for a reason. It's because immortals don't die, no matter how hard you try and kill them. They're still in it. We're gonna breach 40 minutes here at the rate we're going, Orbital. I don't know if this is the longest game we've had here in the Proving Ground Circuit qualifiers, but it sure as hell feels like it. And for Winthrop, hey, every time they've got Baron, it's been stopped by a pick. So they've got to play this a little bit carefully here, make sure nobody goes down. And if they just group up that way, maybe they can make something happen. But as we say that, Avano.
Yeah, Avano's on their own, but the teleport comes in, and this is actually a pinch. Winthrop might have found it. It's a 3 versus 5 pinch. This could be the epic play that they want, and they do. That's going to be a catch on 1, but it's 1-for-1. Now the rest of the team is here. But look at the raw damage coming through. Enemy girls down. Enemy girls down. Mabud says, I want more. This is going to be it. Immortals no longer. They are running for their lives. Meech, full health, has to run for base. Avano at slash almost gets slow up, but Meech is able to stay away. No summoners available now. Has to try and get to safety. Winthrop with a huge advantage here is going to force Meech all the way back to the base, and that means the towers could be down. Winthrop on the cusp of victory.
20 seconds till Shochi is back up. That's the big one you need to threaten this. Mordio, it's their big turret clearer here, and can Meech clear fast enough? He doesn't have the right guns. He got caught.
Oh, he has nothing. He's dead. Winthrop had killed him off. No one up for 5 seconds. Shochi, I don't think it'd be a miracle. RMC, it has happened. It is GG. Winthrop, 14th seed, will take down the 3rd seed of Immortals AOE.
Orbital, what a way to end this incredible series. The first LCS affiliated team has fallen. North America, witness your collegiate kings. The roster might have changed. The winning does not, and they are here to take the amateur scene by storm.
I would love nothing more than to dive into that game, to dive into the chaos, the beautiful chaos that was painted in that 40-minute game. But we cannot. We have 3 amazing analysts waiting right now to break it all down. So I'm going to throw it over to the amazing Travesty, Smax, and Avril, very sorry, to be able to give us that rundown.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and hey, yo, welcome back to the desk, where we just got to see a game 3 that was back and forth. Like, what was that? Both these teams, neither team wanted to lose, but unfortunately for IMT, Winthrop showing their more than just the kings of collegiate so far. Smats, we were looking through that game, and that was just a phenomenal game, man.
Yeah, that was, well, phenomenal is definitely one word for it. I think you could throw a lot of adjectives in there, and at least at some point in that 40-minute slugfest, it would be correct. Sloppy is definitely one word. You know, adventurous. We got some big pop-off plays as well. But yeah, just all in all, that was a really fun time. Really big congratulations to Winthrop for finding this upset. I don't know if it's possible, but if we could show the caster predictions, I think this is a great time to do this, because
Yeah,
literally
can we do this, please?
nobody,
Literally
not a single
nobody.
person predicted Winthrop to win. Not even Twitter.
Wrong.
Oh my God.
Wrong.
Everybody's
wrong.
That's so funny.
Hey, listen. This is why they don't have us put our predictions in, because we would have gotten it right. Like,
I think I am on record saying that I thought Immortals was going to win, so
I made a mistake there.
I think I'm wrong too. But yeah, just a really good upset for Winthrop. Really valuable for them. They get to move on to the upper final. I don't know the terminology of this group, but anyway, it's a really big win. I'm really happy for them. They definitely deserve this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for it. I believe we do have our interview actually ready to go to get things going. So I believe we are going to make a swap over to that, as we do have Ivano here coming in here. Hey there, how's it going, Ivano? Doing fantastic. You just came off of quite a fun game there, a fun series. You had some fancy footwork.
I
throughout
did.
that.
I can't say I didn't.
But game 3, we gotta talk about game 3 a little bit, because we just came hot off of that. You had quite a phenomenal game 1 and game 2. Game 3 had some interesting moments. You had some of the biggest game-making plays, and then like had those interesting situations. So, how was game 3 going for you guys and the comms and whatnot?
It was going okay up until I did the flash Cassiopeia and I hit 3 people at Dragon, and the whole room, like everybody's behind me, we all exploded, man. We all exploded, and they're like, "Yo, we got Baron!" So we went on that.
I'll be honest, us here on the desk, we popped off for it as well. There was that moment,
to see it.
And there was also the Baron steal that came out from Kenji. There, the
Yes!
hero play.
I did not believe that Kenji actually did that. That was, oh my god, I still can't believe that.
Was he calling the shot there? Was he like, "Yo, hold on to this, I got this, Baron," or was that just him just like throwing the cast to win?
He did not say much. He was just chilling there. He's like, "Wait, can we stop this?" And then he ulted over, and he just got it. I was like, "How does that happen?" But yeah.
Now, I have to ask, you guys are coming off, even though you guys have a lot of new players here, you guys do have the title of being the kings of collegiate, right? You guys do have that reigning championship for yourselves. How does it feel to come inside of the Proving Ground circuit and be able to take out an LCS affiliated org in y'all's first match here after the open qualifier?
It feels really damn good, I gotta say. A lot of people were doubting us. I don't know why. We won CLL last year, even though I wasn't a part of the roster. I am now, and we're still very, very strong, as you can still see. And I just like to prove the doubters wrong.
Well, I think you definitely gave them some things to prove them wrong inside of this, and
Yeah.
it was beautiful to be able to watch. Inside the jungle, I do want to bring up, you guys do have a substitute situation that's been going on there from what we've been seeing. You guys normally have Frost Forest inside the jungle role. How has it been playing with a new jungler? Because you guys played with him throughout the entirety of Open Qualifier and here now, and he had fantastic series for himself as well.
Yeah. They're a bit different in terms of playstyle, but they're both like really synergistic with our team. I still think they're both very strong junglers, and I like them both. They're my boys.
I feel that. With that being said, man, before we end off this interview, I do have to go ahead and ask you, what's the goals of Winthrop? Do you think Winthrop's just going to come out here first seed swinging? Is that the goal? Is that the plan? Or is what is there to expect for Winthrop, man?
I will say that we have pretty high hopes for ourselves. We've been putting in the work, and we're just hoping for the best. I believe we can do it, and we'll do it.
Let's have some spice to end this off with. There's two other collegiate teams out there, right? Are you guys looking to be the best collegiate team here inside of the qualifier, or do you guys have a doubt about that? What's up with that? What's going through y'all's mind?
I believe we can be the best. We haven't really fought the other collegiate teams much yet, so it's still like hard to tell. But I still believe that like we can be the best.
I like it. Look, I'm ready to see how you guys build that up. You guys had an impressive showing here, taking down Immortals AOE. Absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much, Ivana, for coming in for the interview here.
Thank you for your time.
Anytime. As going to go ahead and go back to the desk here as hello everybody, welcome back to the desk.
Hello, what's up?
I like how Smats was here in the middle. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it was a good mediator. You know, once I felt that there was no threat of any violence, I made my escape. But it's all good.
Smat's protected. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. This is why I got you throughout the entirety of this protecting. But I mean, now we got to see Ivano's perspective there. I love the energy that they had, by the way. Like, he was talking about the 3-man Casio, the Kenji steal at Baron popping off. It's exactly what you want to see out of a young collegiate team just looking to prove themselves here. I want to real quick throw it over because I talked a lot about the mid, the jungle. We saw how the Ezreal was performing. You gave some big props to the vets inside that game.
Oh yeah, no, I really think Vex really proved his worth on that third game, because I don't think he really had the best first and second game, but oh my god, it literally felt like it was like a Sven ADC with his ults. He was like it was just landing them on cooldown and like landing it on the people that mattered, and I'm really impressed. Good job, Vex.
Yeah, I really like that performance as well. We saw a lot of really high moments for all the players on really both teams, but Winthrop especially, as they did win that game. I remember that specific Ezreal ult where it like ripped through 4 people and just chunked them all to half. Oh, that was so filthy.
Them.
I remember very specifically just it saying, "Oh, what was that damage?" Oh, like it was.
You were really disgusted.
Yeah, I was actually just And I mean, yeah, congratulations to Winthrop here, man. This is a huge win for this collegiate squad here that is able to be the first collegiate squad to actually pick up a dub for themselves so far after getting outside of the out of the open qualifier, and they do it against an impressive team here in an LCS affiliated org.
Yep, really big moves. They, if you were watching both streams as well, you'll know that Immortals are not the only LCS affiliated amateur team that did get upset today. So there's just something in the air going on right now, Travesty. It's a good time to be watching some Proving Grounds games. Big ups to Winthrop and Taco Gaming as well on the other stream.
Yeah. Now you say there's something in the air. I call it magic. But with that being said, we did have ourselves a magical and phenomenal guest here in Avril. So Avril, we do have to unfortunately say goodbye to our lovely guest, who is going to, I'm sure, be providing much more. Throps out in the chat. The hype never dies.
Yes, drop that, guys. Drop that.
With that being said, thank you so much. Make sure you guys check her out. She's phenomenal. She drops some fantastic memes on her Twitter, so make sure you check her out. Her @ is there. I can certify these memes. They are absolute bangers, so make sure you check them out. That being said, we're going to take ourselves a break. When we come back, we'll be getting ready for our next series, as it's going to be yet another exciting one with Supernova taking on Dare.